Mummy Longlegs, the main antagonist of Puppy Playtime Chapter 2, might at first seem like a typical villain with a weak backstory slapped on her, to give the protagonist some sort of adversity and make the plot generally more engaging. However, getting to actually know what happened to her and why she became the way she did, you cannot help but sympathize with her.
It was always so sad to see the kids go. They called me Mommy because I was the closest thing they ever had to one. But they come for games and never come back. They left Mommy to die alone. Mommy didn't deserve that.
Hi folks, I'm R and welcome to the video. Make sure to send me your theory ideas on Twitter, which I could cover in the upcoming videos. This video will have spoilers. With that said, let's begin. At first it might appear that Mummy Longlegs is a stereotypical villain character with no sensible backstory, wanting to watch the world burn in vain just because her character is supposed to be so in order to make the plot more engaging. After all, she's got a name not many associate with scarred tough characters who have been molded and shaped as such due to the horrible experiences they went through. But after analyzing her monologues, information written about her and who she was before the monster we are accustomed to, I can't help but sympathize with her and understand her anger and resentment. She in fact was a tough character who saw atrocities and injustice which shaped her the way she is now. The monologue is subtle and information written about her unravel more backstory about who she was, which makes me believe she's more of an anti-hero than a villain. Someone who was punished unfairly for the benefit of whatever twisted plan Playtime Co. had. This takes us back to 1991, the birth of Mummy Longlegs' toy. Despite its eerie nature and questionable glitches and distortions, the VHS tape seems to be an innocent commercial targeted towards children with a new lineup of magnificent toys from Playtime Co. However, analyzing a letter titled Transfer Request, a terrible revelation suggests otherwise. Mummy Longlegs, Experiment 1222, was in fact a human test subject named Marie Payne. The process of Playtime Co. experiments are unclear, and it's not specified what exactly happened to the test subjects. I have a few theories surrounding this, using some evidence in the game. At first, I thought that the consciousness of test subjects or their souls were transferred into the dolls' bodies. A bit stereotypical and unimaginative, I know, but we weren't given much to ponder upon. But with chapter number 2, it became very clear that the toys are organic and mechanical. By organic, I mean they possess certain tissues and organs that humans and other animals do. Huggy Wuggy bled when he was thrown off the platforms and hit its head. Mummy bled severely when she was squashed in the gear system, and other toys within the factory also seem to bleed. The arm, Experiment 1006, the prototype, or also known as the claw, seems to also possess human characteristics. The arm had ulna and radius bones, the two bones found in the forearm, while they were attached to mechanical parts. The arm also had spiraling vessels colored red and blue, representing veins and arteries in human body. Therefore, the arm, including other toys, have some sort of cardiovascular system and possibly even respiratory system, providing them with oxygen and blood. That is why the toys bleed whenever they suffer from any major trauma or injury. This makes the experiments carried out by the Playtime Co. that much more brutal and gruesome. They don't read spells or conduct witchcraft to transfer the souls of human subjects into the toys, but they take parts of their bodies, possibly brain, heart and lungs, and place them into a toy body, but much more on this theory on another video. Marie Payne, the test subject who experienced the unfortunate fate of being used by Playtime Co., became a toy known as Mummy Longlegs. Distraught and confused, waking up in her new body, she was put into forced labor to obey the demands of the cruel and unjust Playtime Co., her tormentor and enslaver. The note explains that Mummy is very hostile towards the staff, which is understandable after being experimented on without her consent and forced into running certain errands just to further the plans of Playtime Co. This is also confirmed in one of her monologues when she refers to the protagonist as an ex-employee of Playtime Co. who deserves more than anyone else to stay in the factory forever and die. Something that Marie Payne, or Mummy Longlegs, has been unfairly destined to suffer from.
But they come for games and never come back. They left Mommy to die alone. Mommy didn't deserve that. But you worked here. So if anyone deserves to die alone, it's you.
However, it's not clear if the protagonist knew of any of the experiments being carried out. Therefore, he might not be as bad as suggested. But also, he's someone Mummy recognizes, so after all, maybe he was involved in the experiments. Despite her animosity with the staff, Mummy shows delicacy and warmth towards the other experiments. It is described that she acts motherly towards the other experiments and is extremely protective of them. Now, why would she act motherly to the other experiments? And why would they even need any protection? That's unless Marie Payne was in fact a mother before being experimented on, who was deprived of her right to care for her child or children, bound to be trapped in the depth of Playtime Co. for eternity. But it still doesn't explain why she would act motherly and protectively towards the other experiments, unless they needed protection. And they needed a mother figure to care for them, which means that the other experiments were no other than the orphans and children Playtime Co. so pretentiously promised and vouched to care for and find a home for. But the home they found was nothing they expected. It was a dark and twisted fortified factory where they were tested on and analyzed. Mummy Longlegs, knowing the horrible aftermath of being an experiment, knew the horrendous experience the orphans had gone through, waking up in a body they don't recognize, being limited to do compared to what they could before, imprisoned in the factory forever. Mummy, showing hostility towards the staff, is subsequently transferred to the game station, acting as a guide to the children, in order to contain her and manipulating her into acting how they wanted her to. Due to her compassion and care for the children, she didn't want them to see her bad side or terrify them. Therefore, she became suppressed in front of the children, not attacking any of the staff. It's mentioned that seeing other children on a daily basis would possibly improve her behavior, or in other words, her will to seek justice and freedom, and she would be easily controlled and manipulated that way. They subsequently move her to high security, calling this plan a conditioning procedure, clearly showing how Playtime Co. care little to none about human life and helping orphans. This plan is not fail-proof, however, as Mummy Longlegs in one of her monologues expands on the outcome of this conditioning plan, explaining what happened and how she felt.
It was always so sad to see the kids go. They called me Mommy because I was the closest thing they ever had to one. But they come for games and never come back. They left Mommy to die alone. Mommy didn't deserve that.
She explains that while she enjoyed spending time with the children in the game station, who called her Mummy as they never had one before, they never came back to her after playing the games, making her feel betrayed and unloved, someone who gave all of her love and attention to the children, her livelihood, just hearing a fake and superficial name in return, Mummy, which was empty, as the children never loved her as much as they would a real mother. Or at least, that's what Mummy Longlegs thought, as her knowledge of what happens to the children was limited, and she didn't know what happens to them after the games. Mummy explains that the children left her to die alone, but what she didn't know in fact was that the children didn't leave intentionally, and they weren't there to just play games. The children were being tested for their suitability to be vessels for a certain purpose, possibly a vessel for bringing the deceased child of Elliot Ludwig back to life. Based on the children's results from the 3 games, musical memory, waggy and statues, they were considered to be whether suitable or not, accordingly sent to 2 different locations using the train. One leading to the playcare and one leading straight, which is said to be a way out, but again, we don't know for sure, as a way out might simply mean death. I personally wouldn't be surprised at this point, as Playtime Co. is very deceptive and manipulative. Therefore, Mommy Longlegs was a caring and loving mother who was forced against her will to become a test subject and have her mind and consciousness transferred into a toy physical form. Being horrified to what had happened to her, she became resentful and hostile towards the Playtime Co. staff, wanting to seek vengeance for what had happened to her. Something she did not deserve, being separated from her child or children. Despite the atrocity she suffered from, she still showed her motherly quality for the other test subjects or experiments, courageously defending and protecting them against the soulless staff of Playtime Co. Playtime Co., seeing Mommy Longlegs or Marie Payne's caring and loving quality as a weakness, they took advantage of her and used it against her, controlling her and manipulating her by placing her in a place where many children are present, stopping her from showing any hostility towards the staff, keeping her boxed in a place for eternity. Mommy Longlegs, or the person behind this abomination, Marie Payne, did not deserve having her kindness used against her, forcing her to become a shadow of herself, seeing herself descend into madness and feeling resentment, who finally suffered a painful and slow death, being crushed in between gears. That's it for this video, folks. If you enjoyed it, stick around for more Puppy Playtime Chapter 2 videos. It's been your host Star, and I will see you on the next one.